Digital ladies breaking the chain, rising in crypto, we're changing the game. Crypto frontier, we're claiming our space. Not your keys, not your crypto, know your place. Unscripted, we're bold, we're free. Melissa Key, the Lady K, and Opti. Dip a toe, come ride this wave. Digital wealth, we're here to pay.
Crypto nights, we're lighting the spark. As we ignite now, we're setting the mark.
Safety first, we're keeping it tight. Blockchain power, we're shining the light. Unscripted, we're bold, we're free. Melissa Key, the Lady K, and Opti. Dip a toe, come ride this wave.
Welcome to Digital Ladies Unscripted. How you doing today, ladies?
Excellent.
My name is Melissa, and I'm joined by my fabulous co-host, Key to Lady K and Opti. Tonight, we're hitting round 4 of our XRP Ledger Security Series, multi-sign wallets via SignerList, the ultimate no single point of failure upgrade. Now, if you've been with us these past few weeks, you've already picked up some powerful tools. We've went over how to segment or split your wallets for better organization and safety. We've learned the basics of air gapping, keeping keys completely offline. And last week, we walked through how to rekey your wallet, keeping the master key safe and offline while using a regular key for everyday moves. You maybe even turned off that master key for extra security. Tonight, we're going to take the next big step, and that is with the multi-sign wallet. This means turning your wallet into something shared and super strong, and it's perfect for money you hold together with your partner, passing crypto on to a family member later. Maybe you have a team or a business fund that you want to split up, or you have a DAO, or just you want to make sure there's no single key that can control everything, meaning no one person can move the funds alone, and having that shared control can give you the peace of mind. Because as we all know, life can throw us a curveball sometimes. We lose our phones, we have team changes, family stuff, you name it. Multi-signature wallets can help us by spreading out the trust. You're going to decide the rules, how many signers, what their weights are. That way, no one person can drain it alone. It's governance, it's security, and it's real peace of mind. Now, here's a quick disclaimer. This is all educational. Always practice on XRP testnet first. Never learn using your real funds. Remember, setting up a signer list is powerful and mostly irreversible without approval. It is a big commitment, but it also brings big protection. So grab your drink, get comfy, and let's learn how to build wallets that are smart, secure, and unstoppable together. The chat is open. If you have questions, please drop them in all caps. And if we don't get to them tonight on the show, please come to the after space at 10:10 on X. Ladies, are you ready to dive into multi-signature wallets?
And wait.
We're ready. Let's go.
Let's go. I guess we should say a quick hello to those that are in the chat, because we do have 29 people in here with us already, and I can see the comments are hopping. I do know that Silver Days is always number one. Big shout out to Silver Days. Who else do we have in there, Keita?
So we have our lovely friend Stone that we'll be seeing in a couple of days. So that's always dope. And then we also have Island Ghost Stephanie. We have Corn in the house, and also Miss Stephanie. I'm sure there'll be more that'll be coming in as we have other shows that are going on right now. I'm sure they'll be coming in. So I am not concerned.
Fantastic. Well, welcome, guys. Please share this out if you're watching on X or other platforms. If you do have questions, please come over to the Dip a Toe Show YouTube and throw your questions in the chat, and we will do our best to answer it. But this is an action-packed show this evening, so if we don't do it, please come over to the after space. But let's go to the big picture benefit for multi-sig wallets. What's the real value here, guys? Why do we want to learn this?
Well, I think it's super important, and I wanted to speak first about this because I actually deal with a multi-signature wallet. And with my business, with my IRL business, we are accepting digital assets and cryptocurrencies. And so, in order to be able to make sure that everyone is in consensus as to what happens with the funds that are in that multi-sig wallet, we have to have, a certain amount of people that are in agreement in order to be able to make any transactions final, right? And so that's that quorum that I know Lady K will go over and kind of talk about that. You get to set that up, and because you get to set that up, you get to control how much security you have over the transactions that are happening in the wallet that has to do with other people. So I think it's super important for sure.
Abdi, got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, with my same thing, basically, Akita said, like, I have had my wallets forever. Sterling, my kids are being pretty loud. I've had obviously multiple wallets, and, I'm always worried about, to be honest, I'm worried about getting compromised myself, like having somebody come in and try to take control of the wallets, whether that's digitally or physically. And we've heard some horror stories, even in Canada. And so I've thought about a lot about, finding a team that I trust, that I could have a multi-sig account with. So therefore making sure that, they would have to compromise us all to be able to compromise the actual wallet. So I'm very excited about this because I've been afraid of doing it. Also, I was looking for all of you, right? So I, didn't really have anybody that I trusted that could do this, that could, make sure that like the XOM wallet, distributor wallet, the Blue Umbrella token distributor wallet, the NFT wallets, were safe and secure. So I'm really excited about learning this. I'm so glad the Lady K knows how to do it and she's confident enough to teach us.
No kidding.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that it's another reason why I believe the XRP ledger is such a powerful tool for us all. And what we're getting ready to dive into is perfect for organizations, whether you have a DAO or a trust, or a business where you want to have, 3, 5, 10, several different people as signers on the account. It definitely it's a wonderful tool. It's a planning tool. It helps with inheritance and everything else. What do you think, Lady K?
I think those are all perfect, right? I mean, Akita talked about risk management. Opti talked about trust, which multi-signature can certainly provide, but it also provides flexibility because it can be changed. It provides control and governance within like a business or an organization, but then it also can be utilized by individuals as like a backup plan, right? I mean, you can set this up in case you lose your regular key with whatever friends, children, whatever, and set it to like where they all would have to sign. So like, and that's where it provides the trust because like maybe one person individually, goes rogue, but all would have to like cohort or go rogue, right? So it can be used for a lot of different things.
Yeah, I had a friend back in the day named Farmer John with his Bitcoin wallet and those trusty seed phrases with all of the words and stuff. And he actually did like a scavenger hunt type of thing with his kids and gave them each individual pieces of the key. To where they'd have to come together in order to populate the wallet, which I thought was extremely clever, right?
Yeah, make you all be nice with each other.
Exactly. But I loved his level of thinking there with it, with thinking about inheritance and large sums and say, you have a bag, even just if you don't have a business, I think it's an extremely handy tool for having a business and wanting to have XRP as part of the mainstay of your business and how you transact and whatnot. But even for those that just have those larger bags and they're kind of saving it for maybe their grandkids or their children or whatnot. Having this multi-sig capability and not having one person have all the control is fantastic. And so I'm really excited about learning more how to do it. So let's get right into it with setting up, like how to set up a multi-sig wallet on the XRPL. I'm going to let Lady K take over here and give us the walkthrough or how she wants to start presenting this. So Lady K, the floor is yours.
Okay, so you do have to have a shared account. And Xammon has a very nice multi-sig X app that really actually makes it very user-friendly. So I would suggest setting it up in Xammon through that X app. It's hard. It's hard to show, Xammon on this. So I'm going to do it in XRPL services. And let's see. I'm going to share the screen right here.
Yeah, that Xammon wallet, they've evolved that they have so many handy tools nowadays for folks.
Yeah, they do. They have a lot of really handy tools. So this is going to be the primary shared account. Of course, I'm doing everything on the test net. So I'm not worried about sharing, the screen. And simply setting it in XRPL services, you would connect the wallet, you would go to the signer list. Now, there are quite a few things you have to decide when you're setting it up because you have to enter it to set it up, right? So now the shared account should have enough XRP to fund the reserve and transactions. The reserve is only 0.2. It doesn't matter how many signers you have. If you had set up multi-sig prior to the amendment that changed the reserves, because it used to be like you were charged per signer, if you want to update to the new reserve and get those reserves back, you'd have to set up multi-sig all over again.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
well,
then,
that's a good thing for people to know because they can get some XRP back, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, the first thing it asks you is quorum and your signer list, right? So quorum is the minimum weight needed for a transaction to be approved. And you select how many signers you're going to have, and then you select the weight. So let's see, I'm going to share another. Now, as far as the signer list goes, you can have up to 32 signers. You can't have duplicates. That's a lot, right?
That's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, again, that goes to business use case, right? Because if you have a business and you have multiple employees and you want to be able to transact, if one employee is out of the office and they got a backup or two people that used to do the same job, it would make sense that they would also have a signing ability, right? In case the other one's out of the office. So 32 is a lot. It's a lot more than I expected, actually.
I agree with that. But if you have also a board of directors, or say it's a company that has stocks and now they have people that vote, therein lies your people for 32. It makes total sense in that instance.
I'm going to pipe up for just a second and let you know that on Stellar it's 250.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
Crazy. That is a lot.
Ooh. I need to learn a little bit more about.
But you can put weights of 100 and then, have 4 people have 50 kind of thing. You don't have to just give them a weight of 1. Lady K will get into it, but I thought that one of the things I've been very curious about is how this could be utilized for voting, in general, of voting on things. So that's where my brain has always gone with Stellar and having such a high number. So anyways, I'll let you keep talking.
Now, the shared account cannot be a signer because the shared account's master key could override the multi-signature.
That's good information.
You can still single side transactions if the master is enabled. You could also set a regular key, disable the master, and still use the regular key. So the shared account cannot be a signer.
And we kind of went over that last week with how to set that up. So if you guys want to go back to last week's show, Lady K gave a really good demo on how to do that, to kind of familiarize yourself with that using the test net. So you definitely want to do that. I wonder, are we going to talk about quorum and wait a little bit more?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And so also I want to say that if you do disable the master key, in order to re-enable it, and say you don't set a regular key, in order to re-enable the master, you would need all the multi-sig to hit consensus, right? So you don't want to do that unless you know how to transact, which we'll get to at the end. But if you set a regular key, the multi-sigs could actually rekey your wallet. All right, so I am going to, all right, now quorum is the minimum weight. So let's talk about the weight. I am going to share this other thing I made. I just have to get back to it. Sorry.
No worries. Yeah, so guys, basically right off the bat, my mind is going to, okay, I need to think this out and plan it out before I start doing, right? Like thinking about your the amount of signers that you want for your quorum and the weights that you're going to give each one of them, right? Right, Lady K?
Yeah, you definitely want to do that. Of course, I just shared it with Melissa, and now it's not
that always happens. That
Give
always
me
happens.
1 second.
No worries. No worries.
something.
Yeah. So, I mean, guys, like whenever you're thinking about anything, setting up anything, having a well drawn out plan for yourself and thinking about all the different use cases for it, what types of people you would want to be considered a signer, and then breaking that down even further into, the amount of responsibility each signer category. Like my mind goes to, I'm going to pick a bunch of people and I'm going to assign them a category in my mind of like, how important is this person? How much weight of importance do I want this person as far as having control? And how many overall keys would you actually need? Those are the types of things that I'm thinking of right now. And having a well drawn out plan, I think, is key for this kind of stuff. And as we said earlier, don't do anything with your real money off the top. There is that test net on XRP Ledger, and you can practice this. And so I would definitely have you do that before you use any kind of real money. All right, cool, Lady K.
All right, so the quorum is the minimum weight needed to authorize a transaction. It has to be greater than 0, but less than or equal to the weights you've assigned signers. Because if it is greater than the weights you've assigned signers, you will never be able to hit consensus, right? So, and I'm calling it consensus, but you're setting weights so that, they come together and authorize that transaction. As far as the weights go, you can have different combinations. Like think of it like if you were to have 3 signers and a quorum of 1. So you set, person A, person B, person C all has 1. That means any one of these people could sign. You can also do it by you have 3 signers and the quorum is 3. And each person of the 3 has one weight. That means all 3 would have to get together to equal 3 to hit the quorum. So all 3 would have to sign.
You could also do something more complicated, like having a higher weight where you have multiple signers with a specific amount of weight that would have to add up to the actual overall weight that you need to sign the transaction, right? And
Yeah.
so there's
maybe
you have
that
5
has to do-
signers.
And
And
maybe that has to do with the amount that people actually have contributed to the project.
Could
You
be.
know what I mean? With the weight. I was just thinking about it from that vantage point.
I'm thinking of business standpoint where it's like you have
Mhm.
employees, right? You've got the CEO of the company, the CFO, maybe you have an accounting firm, and then you have your accountant or your bookkeeper, and you would assign them lower weights than these higher up guys, but the overall you have to have the at least this much to sign it off on it,
yeah,
and you wouldn't want the overall signing weight to be a combination of any of the lower weighted people coming in and signing together and being able to sign it. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I
Is what I
do
was
have
thinking.
one of those examples. You can also set, like, say you have 5 signers, but you set quorum to 3, right? Which means, like, okay, of these 5, as long as 3 sign the transaction, it will go through. So you can do it that way. And then you can have a more complicated setup like Melissa was just talking about. Now this says 3 signers, but there's more than that. I think there's like 8 here, sorry.
No worries.
And then the quorum is 3, right? And so you could say, okay, the CEO's weight is 3. The president and vice president's weight is 2. And then the director's weight is 1. So in that case, you know, A alone can sign. A president or vice president plus a director can sign. The president and vice president can sign, even though that equals 4, as long as it hits the quorum or is greater than the quorum, you know, that works. Or all 3 directors can get together and sign.
Yeah.
You see how that works?
Personally, I would want at least one of the uppers to not. I would try to think of a way where the directors themselves couldn't form a quorum, for like a takeover of a transaction or something. But that's
That
just the
might
way
be better, but
that's
this
the
is
way my
just a
mind goes.
show.
Yeah,
This is just a show, though, that you can have like one person with the weight needed. And you can
yes.
have you know what I mean? Like it's set up however, you know, you want to do that. And also, what was I going to say about, like, the higher the number, the more authority they're going to get. Obviously, the lower number, the less authority. You cannot exceed like a weight of like 65,500 and something.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
That's pretty. I'm trying to think like when the heck would you need that big of a quorum? But maybe, like Opti was saying with voting and stuff, it depends. Like I don't know. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. And you know, another thing, when you're setting the signers, they did amend this where you can actually submit additional data to identify the signers. Like
Oh,
like sign entry and wallet locator are the fields, but you can put in like their title or their IP or some, you know, data
that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. So, like, you could make it so that the employee has to be at work at their employer's IP address in order to actually qualify to sign the transaction using that key. Right?
Well, it's additional data added when you submit the transaction, which let's go back because we're going to submit the transactions. But it's additional data that you can submit when you are setting up the multi-sig to identify the signers.
Okay. I just know that there's a lot of different things where, employees have logins to certain things, but they can make it so that they can only use it when they're at the place of employment or whatever. Because you wouldn't want to give a key to someone willy-nilly and have them be able to use it wherever they wanted to use it, just for security purposes or whatever, I guess. So that sounds awesome that they have that built in. And one other question before we move on. So this is part of the XRP ledger where it was voted on and approved and built into the ledger, right? It was put in.
So there's multi-sig, right? But then they've made amendments. They amended the reserve requirement, and then they did expanded signer list where they changed from 8 to 32 and the ability to add that additional data. So it's across a few amendments.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. So going here, I just want to show, multi-sig is not set up. Multi-sig is not set up in this account. So I have made 3 test wallets. So I'm going to do a quorum of 3. And I'm going to click Add Signer. I'm going to put in the signer account. I'm going to put a weight of 1. Let's see. It's not liking it. Why not? Okay, weight of 1. Add another signer. I'm going to add in another account. A weight of 1. And I'm going to add a third signer.
It's so cool that you can do this yourself, guys. Do you realize how powerful this is? Honestly, like
Yeah.
it is a powerful, useful tool. I hope that there's a lot of people. There's 138 watching. I hope that you are studying up on this and considering practicing this yourself.
So I've set a quorum of 3. I have 3 wallets in here, all with a weight of 1. And I send the transaction.
Send it. Well, we got a lot of comments in the chat, guys. It's on fire. You guys are on fire.
It is.
All right, I have approved that. And it's very, it takes a little bit longer. It takes like 4 to 7 seconds to actually get approved.
Man, that's so long.
Yeah, right. So now I'm going back to the test net. I'm going to refresh this, and you will see multi-sig is now enabled. You can go to settings, and you can see who the signers are and what their weight is.
I'm sorry.
Nice.
And you can see the threshold, the quorum. So that is how you set it.
Now, I love that you can go here and double check yourself after you've done it. Like, because a lot of times you do things on other platforms where it goes in and you submit it and it goes into nowhere land. And then you're like, I hope it worked. At least you can go and actually verify this. So I think that's very cool.
And you could do that with any transaction, right? This is the Explorer, you know what I mean? And people should definitely do that. I know, like, okay, I don't want to get off base here, but like people start like freaking out about their wallet because something happened and they can't see it or whatever. It's like, go to the blockchain and check your funds first so you can calm down and then think through like what happened, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Now, of course, as long as your master is still enabled, you can delete the signer list the same way. But if your master is disabled, you have no regular key, in order to delete this setup, you would now have to submit the transaction through the multi-sig and hit quorum for it to be deleted. Okay. And that should take us into transactions, unless you guys have any questions.
No, but I think if we watch back last week's show, how you took us through all of those steps. For those of you who are just tuning in tonight and you've missed our previous 3 episodes on this type of topic, go back to last week's show, watch how the master key, regular key setup was. And we went through the test net example on how to do that. And so that'll give a little bit of extra knowledge on what Lady K is talking about this time when it comes to being able to delete that and whether or not you've left your master key enabled or disabled.
Yeah. All right. So getting into transacting, I mean, this is a lot different than a single signer, right? Because you have a wallet. The wallet has the secret key. You prepare the transaction. The wallet gives you that transaction blob, and which is submitted to the ledger. Very simple. But here, when you have multi-signature, you don't have the secret keys of the other signers. So now you have to prepare a transaction. These wallets, except for Xammon, because Xammon has a really nice XApp, but like these other wallets, the ledger and the wallets don't send the transactions to other people to sign. It's not centrally controlled like that. You would have to do that. So you would have to send that transaction to the other people for them to sign it, send it back. The final transaction that goes to the ledger has to be prepared with all the signatures before it's sent to the ledger. So unless you know how to like code this, that you really should use like the Xammon XApp. And you really, if you start playing around with it, don't disable your master key, until you understand how to do this. Couple things that can happen when you're doing this. Number one is you guys understand the sequence number, right? The account sequence number.
No, can you go over that?
Okay, so for those that don't know, is like the accounts have a sequence number, and as the sequence number is submitted with every transaction, and with every transaction it goes up 1. It helps make sure that that is the account that sent the transaction, and that the transactions that are sent are validated in order. So if you send a transaction with a sequence number higher than it should be, or lower than it should, lower than it should be, the transaction will fail, right? So say
because that transaction had already happened, basically.
The sequence number has to go +1 with every transaction.
Got it.
So say you prepare a transaction and you send it to others to sign, but then you do something and you submit another transaction, and now the sequence number is out of order. Or say one of the signers does that. I don't know if that. I think it's only the primary account. Sorry, I don't want to confuse. So the best way, one of the ways you can submit transactions is to use tickets, and a ticket allows you to reserve a sequence number.
Oh,
So you can use it in the future and reserve that sequence number. And actually, the Xammon XApp. So here I can show.
It also makes it to where you don't have to rush to do it if you reserve it, because that way it's already there, so that you don't have to worry about, okay, well, if I don't do it in this certain amount of time, then it won't go through. You see what I'm saying? Or it might fail. So I like that. I like that.
This is the XApp for Xammon, and you will see like it allows you to reserve tickets right in here. And this is the multi-sig XApp. Allow you to reserve the tickets. And actually, when you go to like create, you'll see, send a payment. You can send a payment. And then, and because I have this, okay, so I'm going to set up sending a payment, and I'll show you how it comes up.
Now, where can they find this multi-sig XApp?
Oh, right in that middle button, and the blue Xammon button, or the XApp, the DApp button. You click on it and you can search for multi-sig.
Oh, you mean where it has the DApp button down at the bottom of the screen? Okay.
Multi-sign. Easily, what does it say? Easily create, distribute, and collect multi-sign signatures on the XRP ledger.
So I just sent 5 XRP. And now I'm the signer for all these because I set it up in the test net, right? You're not going to see, like, you're not going to be able to approve like I can, like if you have other people, right? But it will come up in that app for you to, can you see it?
Yeah, it's a little blurry, but we get the gist of it.
It'll come up for you to approve and reject. Okay, so I'm going to hit approve and approve. And then we can see that the transaction was sent on the test net in a minute. Let's see. Another thing too about transacting is that the transaction fee is actually higher. So you have to make sure the transaction fee is correct. The transaction fee is 1 plus 1 for every signer you have. So if I have 3, it's 4 times the transaction fee. So
Wow.
instead of like
Okay.
12 drops, it would be
12 drops.
48 drops.
These are drops you're talking about, not
That makes
full
sense.
XRP. Okay, now
Yeah.
that makes total sense.
No,
Because I was like,
that
wow,
makes
that's a lot.
Because you're going to have to pay the fee for each time you sign, right?
sure.
Each amount of signers that
Yeah,
you
that
have.
makes sense.
So that doesn't surprise me that it would be that way. And like you said, you could do this on your own code if you knew how to code it and do all of that. But the easiest way is to use this Zaman multi-sign app that's already created for you. Especially if you're just dipping your toe into something like this.
Yes. And XRPL Commons has a great article on how to, code it or set it up. I call it coding, but like you're, preparing the transaction. XRPL.org has great articles on it as well. For those developers out there that want to like look those up and let's see. Okay, so all those got approved.
So can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
So when you prepare the payment or offer create, I guess it might be what it's called. You're gonna sign it partially with one key, and is that what creates the blob for the rest of the people to sign?
Okay. So the blob has to be created with everyone's signature. So you prepare the transaction. Now the shared account does not sign it, right? Because that's the master and they're not one of the signers. But then they send that prepared transaction to the signers, and each signer has to sign the transaction, and then it's all sent back, and then the blob has to be prepared with all the signatures.
Okay.
The transaction fee being correct higher, and either you're going to use a ticket or you got to make sure that, the sequence number hasn't been messed up or it will also fail.
Which, I mean, if it fails, it fails, right? It's not going to spend more money than you intended on doing. It's just going to fail and you have to start over, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the protection part of this whole thing with doing multi-sig. So don't be intimidated if you try it and it doesn't work, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I would suggest like not disabling the master, starting like use it and get used to it. And that master is your backup in case, it's too difficult or you're not liking it, you know what I mean? And just get used to it.
Awesome. So basically then with your test, so what did you just do? You just...
Oh yeah. So,
you want me to put you back on there?
Yeah.
Get you back there?
Back there. Yeah, I sent a transaction through the multi-sig X app on Salmon. And if I just refresh this, it should show that transaction went through. And it did. I sent 5 XRP.
Nice.
And then when we click on the transaction hash, it shows it was multi-sig, what public keys signed it. Yeah, all that good stuff.
This is one thing too, with the fact that there's the test net, it's free to use, guys. You get to play around with XRP. You're teaching this or training yourself on how to use it. And then my mind goes back to business or, company like, Amanda's Optimistic Prime's Wandering Footprint or Kita's Brew wanting to share and have the multi-sig. You could literally send someone to the test net, have them practice this out, really get the hang of what they're doing before you ever allow them to become a signer on your account. You know, and for free, without having to pay a company to come in and train you and all of that kind of stuff. Or you could create a business where you're training people and charging. So depend on whichever way you want to go. But I mean, it's an incredible tool and opportunity for people that have businesses. So what else, Lady K?
Well, I think I'll bring up, okay, so let me just find the XRPL Commons. I can show XRPL. I'm going to show where they can get more information on it.
Oh, great.
I just have to bring it up.
I would say the biggest issues would be people not properly thinking things out before they start, planning and really figuring out what their business needs are, or whatever their practical needs are for whatever they're going to use it for. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so this is XRPL Commons, and they have a really good, explanation, but then they get into, how to create the wallets and the code here, if anybody wants to like set it up on their own. How to submit, how to, combine the signatures, all that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We got Nerdy X in the house, and Florida Man Landscaping, and K Buddy. Welcome to Digital Ladies Unscripted, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Thunderbird World Media, and Awesome Amy, and Sir Captain Sticks. We appreciate
Mr. Zam just made it in the room. He's like, he was sitting in he was sitting.
I have to say,
happy birthday, Mr. Zam.
Happy birthday, Mr. Zam. And just want to say, if you guys haven't heard, Mr. Zam and XRP Man have a brand new song. What is it? XRP After Dark. It is so good, guys. I've been playing it on my phone. I have actually, I've got the Optimistic Prime's Blue Umbrella Wandering Footprint song. I've got Rob and Slim DeBoss's song on there. One of Mr. XRP Man's other songs. Rob Phillo's song. Prashino songs I got on there, and Jono. And I've been getting ready in the morning, and they're on my Spotify, like your files, which I should be using XRP Man's tool, but right now they're just on my other phone, and I've been playing it and like hearing one right after another. It's like, wow, there's some talented people in this space. It's so cool. Anyway, sorry, side note.
I'm curious, Opti, how easy is it to use on the Stellar Network? And it's Lobster you can use it through. Do they make it very user-friendly?
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly the same in the back, but that, it's always been the question is like, when the transaction goes through, how do you sign it, right? That's always been my question. They used to have Lobster Vault, and I had heard rumors of like somebody, something going wrong with Lobster Vault, and that's not actually attached to Lobster. And so like you have nobody to call should things go awry. And so I sort of pulled out of that. But very, very, very similar. And actually one of the things I'm like deep in thought here, I'm like, one of the ways that you could, as like where you were looking at the CEO, like the example of the CEO, right? And like having like full quorum. I was thinking another thing you could do, in like my case, if I had like 8 of you, let's say, have a quorum of 8. Or sorry, yes. What was I thinking? Like quorum of 7, and the CEO has 7 or has 6, and then you can have everybody else has one. And so you can have one, just need one person to sign it so that way you can't be compromised. I was sort of trying to figure that out. Like, I mean, those are the kind of questions I have, obviously, because you want to be able to do your own transactions and you don't want to, bump up against like, oh, that person's busy and they can't answer, right? But at the same time, like in order to protect yourself or in order to protect your wallets, like I'm thinking like we don't have our token escrow yet, like except XRP. But I'm hoping for that. And so something that I would want to do is that like if we escrow the XOM token, that couldn't, what happens with that couldn't happen unless there was an agreement, things like that. So I really appreciate you showing that. The app, the X app makes it look like it's a lot easier. And also I was surprised that you didn't need, like, because I always wondered about like adding in terms of the secret key. So being able to add the wallets without needing their secret key. So you got to be real careful about what you put there too, because there's no sign, they don't have to sign that initial transaction. I do have one question though. So with the master, so you said it had to be a shared wallet. So that goes back to last week. So so the master key isn't a signer at this point.
Correct.
So the master key does not have any quorum and it would have to get signed with these transactions. Is that correct? Okay. And so you can never put a wait for the master key. They're never allowed to be, they're never allowed to override.
Think about it this way, though. The master doesn't need to hit quorum. Think of the master as having quorum, the master key. So if the master key is enabled, you can send whatever transactions you want with the master. If a regular key is enabled, you can send whatever transactions you want with the regular key. If you disable the master and have no regular key, at that point, multi-sig is the only way.
So it's mainly important to make sure that master key isn't disabled, because otherwise you would basically you could really be locked out if something happens to that.
You have to utilize multi-signature, but that's what it's for. So at that point, like you should have your setup, how you're going to do it and whatever, and utilize it. And that is what it's for. But also the multi-signatures can re-enable the master.
Okay.
So they can get together and re-enable. And this is important. Brings the flexibility, because say a project sets up their project and they have multi-signatures and now there's a change. And so now I'm going to replace a couple people with a couple new people. The multi-signatures can get together, re-enable the master. The multi-list can be changed.
So good.
Deleted, changed, and then the master's disabled again, and now you have your new set of signers.
Again, it goes back to thinking about exactly what you need to have happen, and just figuring out all of the things that could happen and planning for them. Thinking about it logically, all the projects that have come and gone because somebody took over the wallet and all of these things, right? Even if you plan for it, if you didn't have that situation right away, even if you planned for it in the future when you're setting up this multi-sig environment, even if you didn't use it initially and you were just using the master or whatever, are you saying, Lady K, that at any, you can have the master key enabled, set a regular key, and create the multi-sig environment with the signers, have all of that active at the same time. And then it's your choice of whether you're going to use it in multi-signer mode or not utilize that, but you're going to, just use the master or just use the regular key or whatever. So really, this could be something you could be thinking about as your business progresses. Like Opti, like Wandering Footprint, right? You're like perfect because you already have a situation, you already have real world use case, and you're already thinking about the different ways that you need to have protection and how you could set yourself up, right? So you've got your master already. You have to go to the next step of the regular key thing, and then maybe going the step further with the multi-key. Does that sound right, Lady K?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And that's where, if you're just you know, the multi-sig can even be a backup like we discussed, right? Like set your kids up a multi-sig. All three of them have to get together and sign if something happened to you. You know,
I love
type
that.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but master, regular, and multi-sig, you can use any one or any combination.
I mean, being able to set it up for your kids in the future. Like, I mean, I'm thinking about me or, Ryan, if something were to happen to me, being able to have something set up already for them in the event that they needed to take control, that's perfect. Because a lot of us would go to these other providers or institutions or custodians or whatever you want to call them, right? Because, hey, if I pass away, I know that they're going to turn it over to my heirs and then facilitate how they're going to have access to my account. You can actually do this yourself with this multi-signature thing. And then you can take it a step further. If you want to get lawyers involved and how the keys get separated, where you store them and all of that kind of stuff, the education part of it. But it definitely sounds like a useful tool.
And that's how we become safety deposit box people.
Right?
But I was just thinking, one of the things I've always thought about it was with my kids or James. Like James, he lets me be me, but he knows nothing, about any of this stuff. And so what you were just describing with Ryan, like, pardon me, being able to give maybe pass to all of you guys for our personal one, like my magical internet friends who know what's going on, where he can actually reach out to the people that I know, that I trust, that could help him move forward, so that there is especially like my kids, like they're so little right now. I can't possibly be giving them, their each individual wallet to sign with, but I could give it to each one of you, and each one of you is like, the godmother of, one of my kids. And so there becomes a time where it's like, okay, go see the ladies. They will help you move forward. So yeah, it's really interesting. I think it's also very interesting. So Stellar, the master key it's weighted too. So when I was actually looking at Lobster today, I was actually trying to go over my wallets and sort of see where I was at and where the Ohm coin is. I found out my Tomo file isn't attached to my my website again. So you can't find it again. So it's so funny. I was like, oh, back to 6 years ago in the original issue, right? But I was looking at it, and when you make a wallet, when you make a wallet, that wallet has a weight of 1. So you actually have to change the weight of that to a higher number if you want a multi-sig. And then if you put that to 0, that's what black holing a wallet looks like. Is you have to turn the weight to 0, and you can't re-enable after it's 0. So, I'm always so curious about the differences between the ledgers and like what they changed and what they kept. So yeah, I just thought I'd let you guys know that.
No, that is very curious and very interesting. And just like with regular key, the multi-signer keys, they do not have to be active accounts.
Which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you mean by that?
That means you don't have to put any XRP in them, but they can still sign. So like we went over last week, They don't have to be activated. They're just simply a signer account, period. Yeah. They can't transact.
So then does that mean that, so then the account doing the transaction would be the one that would cover all the costs? Is that how it works?
They do. The shared account always covers the costs. The signers do not.
Wow, that's very interesting. So then how does that come up like in the X app? If you haven't funded the wallet yet, will it still come up in that?
The X app, yes. So if I go because I have a couple that were not activated. So I'm going to go here to attest. It's not activated. Oopsie. And then I go to the X app. I go to multi-sig. And that's why I'm saying Xamarin actually is a really good resource for this.
Patrick puts it in the Viva wallet.
Oh, Well,
I can imagine
I am
he will.
excited for Patrick's Viva wallet. As you guys know, I am a huge Patrick fan, have been for quite a while. So I cannot wait to see what he does with that. Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Well, I do want to definitely thank the 31 people that have come in to hang out with us tonight and find out about multi-sig wallets. And please don't forget to hang out with us after this stream at 10:10 p.m. in our After Dark space for Digital Ladies Unscripted, where we will open up this conversation to our friends and magical internet friends so that we can make more information known to you all. It's a lot of information in 1 hour, huh?
Man, so much. And that After Space is going to go for 1 hour and 1 minute. 1 hour, 1 minute.
1 hour and 1 minute.
At 11:11. Just saying, at that magical hour, 11:11.
Did you put the link in the actual space?
I did.
Yeah,
Yep.
Awesome.
I can put it in again too, just for good measure. Let me throw that link in there again. Yeah, between last week's show and tonight's show, guys, you should definitely watch them back to back. Because it really, even talking about this again, Lady K, it's bringing it. I'm feeling more confident just because, like, Opti asked that question, and I remembered that from last week. Is that no, you don't have to have it activated. That original, the main signing one is the one, or the main account. The master is going to pay the fee because the transaction is going to come out of that wallet. The fees are going to be associated with it. And so therefore you don't have to activate the wallet, which then means that wallet, because it's not activated, those signers can't go and try to spend money out of the account or they can't do anything but sign, right? Mm. They can't do anything but sign unless they have control of the master to create the transaction out of that account.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So again, thinking about business or thinking about you, either Kita or Opti, with wanting to assign to different folks, you could trust someone else to have a signing key, and they can't actually spend your money without you. You know what I mean? They couldn't take over your wallet.
And you could change that weight to make sure that you have to be there in order to be able to reach your consensus. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a very, very valid point. I think that's great, actually.
Any final thoughts, Lady K? We got probably like 1 minute, maybe, before that music plays. Guys, so excited for next week. We're going to be together in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. In fact, we're going to be there on Wednesday, and Dip a Toe Show is going live from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Who knows who's going to show up? So I hope you guys do stop by for that. And then, of course, us digital ladies will be together. So we're going to record a show together because we're all going to be on a plane on Monday. So be on the lookout for that one as well. And please join us in the after space here at 10:10. It's going to start in about 10 minutes. Yep. Be there or be square. Guys, thanks so much for coming. We'll see you next time. Have a good rest of the night.
Digital ladies breaking the chain. Rising in crypto, we're changing the game. Crypto frontier, we're claiming our space. Not your keys, not your crypto. Know your place. Unscripted, we're bold, we're free. Melissa, Kita, Lady K, and Opti. Dip a toe, come ride this wave. Digital wealth, we're here to pay.
Crypto nights, we're lighting the spark. As we ignite now, we're setting the mark.
Safety first, we're keeping it tight. Blockchain power.